I smashed my oven last night.
I didn't know. Because you did a little pause just before oven. I smashed my oven.
Yeah, went out drinking with the missus yesterday. Hence the hat, by the way. I'm hungover. Forgot to do my hair.
So you don't want to look silly?
I don't want to look... Yeah. Like, there might be a clip that goes out from today, do you know what I mean? And that'll be on the internet for a while, and I don't want to look stupid in the clip. So I'm wearing a hat.
Box. Ticked. Sorted.
Yeah, accidentally smashed the front glass on my oven.
Now, was it you just fucking kicked it and you weren't even cooking, or is it like, I fucking nailed that pizza, twat? Well, how did you do it?
So
stuck your dick in the... What?
So, in your house, do you have ice cube trays or do you buy bags of ice?
Oh, we're bags of ice.
Yeah, that's what we do. And occasionally...
Because they're noncy, those little plasticky things. Yeah. And then it's put in the back in and you spill the water.
I saw something the other day and it was just fill the ice cube tray next to the freezer. It's such a life hack that no one does. Everyone does that.
Yeah.
Just take a jug over to the freezer.
It's true, but it's still just annoying, isn't it, when you're trying to like, don't spill it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're a bag
Phones
of
off,
ice.
please, guys. Phones off, please.
Yeah.
It's usually me being that guy.
So, occasionally when you're a bag of ice household, you'll go and check that bag, and it'll basically just be one big ice cube. So you have to smash it, don't you?
It's like a iceberg, isn't it? Then you're in the fucking, you're twatting it off things.
Yeah.
Is that where you went?
And I accidentally threw it at the oven.
Right.
No.
A glass-fronted oven.
I was aiming for the wall.
Right.
And I missed and hit the oven.
Jesus. Did you take it out of the plastic bag?
No, you leave it in the bag.
Yeah, then it breaks.
Yeah.
So what I usually do is just give it like a backhand against the wall.
How?
I was aiming. You know the drawers next to my thing?
Yeah.
I went to hit it on that, and I must have accidentally hit the oven because it smashed.
You went for the drawers. I mean, it's all bad choices.
Yeah.
You must be an absolutely dream tenant there.
I've got a fucking iceberg.
Twat. Right.
I'm just going to get it fixed and not tell
Full
the landlord
crap.
that it
Yeah,
happened.
no, we're not.
I don't think he's a patron.
That'd be bad.
In fact, I know he's not a patron because he came round a couple of months ago and he was like, so how have you been handling the pandemic? What have you been doing? I was like, I started the podcast, and he was like, and that makes money, does it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's my favourite conversation with people that don't understand the internet is like, crazy. It's called The Future Dickhead. Buckle up. So is it just terrible? Could you cook in it? Do you
I think you can still cook in it because I think the front glass is mainly just for show.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, you can cook in it. You're just going to have a very warm kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So if anything, we're going to save on heating bills.
Right.
In the summer.
In the summer, in the hottest few days of the year so far.
Smart.
Fucking clever,
So
isn't it?
switched on. Smash your oven up.
Yeah. I mean, I don't need any excuse to phone a foreign man to bring me takeaway food, but that would be me not using the oven.
Yeah.
Even more.
I'm just going to get it fixed this week.
Nice one. Romanian, or where are you gonna go?
Google.
You're gonna go Google.
I'm going to go Google. I'm going to Google man that fixed the oven.
Right. Good. Just play it simple.
Like man from Del Monte.
Yeah.
The man who fixed the oven.
Can phone a foreign man be Who Wants to Be a Millionaire lifeline?
Yeah.
That'd be so much better.
Yeah. You have a question on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You phone someone, they go, take away our collection. Delivery our collection. I've got 4 questions. Do you want lettuce? You want lettuce?
No, but it's
Is
like
it
the questions like,
lettuce?
where is tahini from? Bam.
Yeah. Right, yeah. It's very
The
specific.
next voice you'll hear will be Dan Nightingale's, and you'll have 30 seconds to ask the question. So the question is,
Hello?
chili garlic, my friend?
Chili garlic, my friend? Hello, Imran. Hello? Collection of delivery.
Where's he from, Ireland?
Where collection of delivery.
Collection or delivery?
Collection of delivery.
Scottish.
That's Scottish.
Really?
The question is, about tahini. I don't do tahini.
Do you know,
I fucking love it. I love a good ignorant takeaway guy. Not ignorant. Ignorant is not the right word, but like not in the modern Western world of like my friend asking what had gluten in at a takeaway in Chester was one of my favourite things. And she's so like, I don't like this, I don't like that. She makes me look rock solid, and I'm a fussy little biatch. Yeah. She was like, oh, I'm just going to check if the chips have got gluten. She's like, do your chips have gluten? And he was like, gluten.
Where's she from?
Gluten. She's from Chester. And she just
Don't the chips have gluten? I am a local to the village.
She gets very like intimidated by stuff like, does it have gluten? And he was like, gluten, gluten. It was so funny. It's just like, he might as well have just gone, I don't give a fuck what you're saying. The chips, you dumb bitch. It's chips. And then he literally lifted up the bag and he was like, potato. Just like, gluten, potato. Phenomenal. Just whack her in some fucking potatoes.
We've done so many accents on this podcast, right? So I've started doing a story on stage, a stand-up bit about when I called the doctor and spoke about me bumhole while Carl was in the room. And that doctor genuinely speaks with what would be a stereotypical problematic Nigerian accent. Do you know what I mean? He's like, Mr. O, we need to do this, right? So I've started doing this story.
You've done that so much on here. We've both done it. I was like, there's no problem with that.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah, but audiences disagree.
Yeah.
So I started doing the voice, and an audience full of people have gone, I don't know whether he's allowed to do that accent. So I've now changed it. So on Sunday night, I went down to Hot Water. I've had a weird weekend of gigs. Tell you about that in a minute. But on Sunday at Hot Water, I went, I'm just going to do his accent as so many different accents. Like every time I reference him, I'm going to change it just for my entertainment. So he started off French, he went German, and then towards the end I brought in...
I've got the bit about cookies when I do a Chinese accent as a Scouser. I started doing it, and it really works. So I'm like, yeah, in China's collating all your data, and they're like, fucking got your data there, lad. And everyone's like, what? I'm like, I'm doing a Chinese accent, but I'm doing it as Scouse to represent Chinese. So really I'm doing Chinese, but it can't be racially insensitive because I'm going, I'm fucking China, lad. I love it. Just messing with people's heads. Yeah, one of my favourite accents that I don't know where I'm doing. Yeah. Just take away Turkish. I don't know if it's wrong.
Ask Finn.
I'll give you the pass on this one. You sound like my dad most of the time when you do it.
Massive enabler though, Finn.
Finn, can you say chili sauce, bro?
But like chili garlic, my friend.
Oh, chili.
That's nailed it.
Chili garlic, my friend.
Can you do it?
What? That accent. Chili garlic, my friend.
Oh.
Chili garlic, my friend. Chili garlic.
Friend.
He's got range, hasn't he, Finn?
Yeah.
Chili garlic, my friend.
Would you like a bag?
Got lots of gluten, you crazy white girl.
That's the big man.
How was your weekend? Did
you
do some stand-up?
I had sex with my wife. I forgot. I was about to tell you about gigs. Woo! We got naked and had sexual intercourse for the first time in 7 months.
Since the baby,
8 months.
Since the baby.
I blew all the loads.
How long did you last?
And I tell you what, Laura has not put the official word in, but she's getting close to going, stop saying you're going to blow loads up me. Because since she's had a tube tied, my son was born. Amazing. He's got to start making eye contact and smiling, because right now, he is definitely my shittest child. He's like, I've pooed, I'm hungry.
It's like me.
Eta's like literally having chats. She's doing bits. She's trying new material. But the other thing, and I talked about it here, Laura had her tubes tied and fucking singed and cauterized and done. And I was like, that's great, isn't it, babe? Because now, and I think what Laura wanted me to say was, we can make love and we don't have to worry about, conceiving. And I was like, now I can blow loads up you. Do you know what I mean? All the loads.
Hang on.
And, are you saying I kept saying it.
You can blow plenty up her or blow a load up her? As in like...
Blow loads of loads.
Exactly what I'm talking about. I can blow plenty up. You're going to inflate it like a balloon. Happy birthday to...
How long did you last time?
Laura just going... Let go of Laura!
I want to know how long you lasted in part one.
No, it was It was a decent performance by all.
Well
Laura
done.
was like, I just feel a bit self-conscious. I was like, come on, I fucking love you, God. It was great. It was really good. I mean, it wasn't great. I mean, if there was an Olympic standard, to hit where you've got to be like so good at shagging to make the next level of qualification, I think it would have been a handshake and like off you go, like back to the amateur ranks. It wasn't. Like, no one's filming that. You'd ask for a fucking refund if you paid for that as pornography. It was fun, decent, solid. Just put it on the fairway.
And then,
I did a cricket move and then went on the fairway, which sort of summed up.
so once you'd finished,
Yeah.
did you stay with her in bed for a bit, or did you just dump and go?
I was like, Drew, I love you so much. She was like, because it's going through birth. There's a lot going on in there, so I think we're all feeling a bit self-aware. Plus, I've put on a few pounds. We're all carrying a bit of baby weight, so I did like, I love you so much, babe. It's great. And then there was a pause. I was like, do you want me to sleep in here? She was like, no. I was like, goodbye. Fucking great. See ya. It was good. So, how was the weekend? Bar the first probably of 3 bonks this year. I just got a message on Patreon from a guy that is a Patreon and follows the podcast and came to my gig in Leeds on a Friday. I think he's called Callum. I'll check in a bit. I'm really sorry,
I had a Patreon
mate.
in Brighton, yeah.
That wasn't very good. I had the perfect balance of like Friday was not good and it was so not good. It was the crowd. It was a bit of the hosting. It was me.
Who was hosting?
And I went, and I'm not going to say who I'm hosting because I want to talk about it.
Who was hosting?
I'm not going to say. And then on Saturday, it was the complete role reversal where the crowd were better, everyone was better, and I was better. But on Friday, because we did those new material nights at Hot Water, didn't we? And it was like, great to be back. It's brilliant. And then I haven't gigged since that Wednesday. I've had that much time off. So I'm like, yeah, well, I'll bring out some older stuff that I want to keep and I'll try those new bits. And on Friday, we left the podcast studio because we recorded on Friday and we left a little bit later than I'd hoped. And I was going to nip back before driving to Leeds, forgetting that it's fucking bank holiday and half of the Northwest is trying to drive to Wales. Did you have a nightmare getting back? Right, so it usually takes me 20 minutes, but I didn't have any time to play with. So as we were driving out of Runcorn, I could just see the problem happening. And sometimes you dawdle on that situation. And you're like, oh, but I'm going that way. I was really pleased with myself. I was like, oh, that's going to be fucked. I'm going to be in traffic for an hour to get home to literally change and then drive to Leeds, which could be fucked the other way. So I just peeled off and drove to Leeds. No clothes, no gig clothes. Just not prepared. I didn't have my notebook. So I just drove to Leeds, went straight to town, and I had to buy gig clothes, which, as we've discussed, is not an issue, is it? Sometimes I've got some good clobber from I didn't do the Asda £5 black t-shirt.
What did you get?
I actually went to Primark and then not Primark. I went to River Island and then Next and got a fucking outfit. Yeah. I was like, oh, I don't know. It was fine. I was actually shopping, trying to buy things that weren't creased, which is a really weird way to shop because I was like, I literally have to wear that. And sometimes on the rail, shit's all a bit crinkled. So I got myself a nice little outfit, got down to the hi-fi, and I'm not going to say who's comparing because I literally don't want any of this to get back to him because he's sound. But when you're comparing a gig like the hi-fi, you've done the hi-fi. Mm-hmm. It's quite a gentle feel to it, isn't it? It's quite a nice gig. And I've watched this loads with some compares. They compare things like it's Saturday night.
I know
rough as fuck
who
gig.
this is now.
Right.
Just from what you've just said.
There was a harshness to some of it.
I am listening.
And there was also like, when you're watching Interaction.
Yeah.
You're all right, Adam. You're all right, kid. What's going on? Is it kicking off? It's not actually. It's not, but it's very close. When if you're in a gig and it's kind of gentle and it's a bit more middle class, I know it's on a Saturday, but it was like it was a Wednesday or Thursday. And if you're a comic on a Wednesday and Thursday, everything's just turned down a touch. You don't need to go in as harsh.
Hey! Mate, you look like a stupid cunt.
There's no...
Doesn't he look like a dickhead? Are you ready for your first act?
Yeah. On a Saturday night when it's stags and hens, I think compares sometimes go, I've got to be battle ready. I've got to be fucking battle ready. And there are some gigs where you're like, I've seen that loads of times when especially in the Jonglers days when it was really like weekend aggressive comparing, and then you'd see them on a weekday and go, mate, this is not that gig. Like everyone's just on a night out to see the comedy. And there was a sort of element of that. Everything that came up, it's funny because he's a proper Northern comic. And everything that came up, he just said like the most contentious thing you could say about it, which I started enjoying. But the crowd were a bit like sort of graduate, like a little bit middle class. So like there was these two girls from Holland and Germany, right? So one's 19, the other's 20. They're studying, I don't know, maybe on traveling, but they're 19 and 20 years old. And he instantly, his banter was, bloody hell, love. You know, you're from Holland and she's from Germany. You want to watch that on the table? She'll be fucking invading that bit of the table. and now I have seen mention of Germany in comedy clubs, and like we did it the other week when we were doing names of American football teams. But we were fucking about, and you were going the SS superstars or whatever. But you're like, there's loads of people in a middle class
football players.
These kids were born this century. You can't do war banter. And everyone was like, yeah, I see. There's a girl from Ireland, and he goes, which bit of Ireland are you from? Are you from the nice bit in the corner that we own, or the fucking big bit? And you're like, mate, Northern Ireland is a contentious subject to not even know what they're fucking called, but it's like it was a character. But it wasn't a character. Then someone was from Zimbabwe, and I was like, I literally know where this is going. He went, have you lost your farm? I was like, what? It was bad luck, but as a compare, when you do interaction, and you do it when you've got crowd and you're chatting to them, it is a game, and it comes with experience, where you have a little chat, and then as soon as they say something, like where they're from or job or age or whatever, you then instantly get your brain printing out the options. And the first one often is like, that's the first thing I thought of. That's not right. Either it's too hacky or it's just a bit aggressive. And a good compare, like for instance, Danny Mac, he literally gets the emails from his head about where he should go with the interaction, throws the first 25 in the fucking bin, and then goes, yeah, I'll use that one. It was like he had no filter as a compare. It was phenomenal to watch. Zimbabwe, yeah, farmers. Then call Robert Mugabe, which was so northern, it made me laugh. It was so funny, just like twatting into these subjects. And it got eggy.
Really?
It got eggy with a woman, and I think like she was in the wrong, but there was 2 or 3 bits of interaction. The crowd was small. There's that social distancing going on, and it's a little bit muted because everyone's like, oh, fucking hell, we're miles away from them. And it's great that everyone's out, but I think people are dying for these restrictions to lift. The atmosphere wasn't great. It started well. There was a little bit of chatting. There was people sort of like chipping in, trying to be helpful, but not being helpful. And there was a lull, and she went, ugh, like that, which is a very cunty thing to do in a small room.
Yeah.
But this is brutal. And this is why I don't want everyone going, oh, that's and I'm not name checking. I sort of knew what she meant. Like, it's harsh. And it was a cunty way to basically be arsey. Yeah. But I did know what she meant. It was a bit, and he lost. It's a cunty thing to do. So he went, that's really cunty. She gave him some back, and she basically just told her to fuck off. And I tell you what, I haven't done proper gigs. This is my first paid weekend. So I've done Adam Rowe and Friends Monday and Tuesday, which was frankly so reassuring, fun, amazing. The crowd were all podcast fans. That Monday night was special, and I wasn't. I was like still finding my feet. So much fun. And then to be back at a paid circuit gig, and within 8 or 9 minutes of the show started, have a compare go, what was that? well, I tell you what, why don't you fuck off? I was like, woo! Because we've all romanticised comedy not being in, like, you know what, it'd be so great when we're back. I'm going to do loads of new material. And then you've got a northern comic telling a snooty fucking middle-class woman to fuck right off. I went on and I should have seen what was going on and just switched to safe mode. Just played it a little safer. But I'm not match fit, and I felt it on Friday. So to my man that came and put a really nice email across, he basically said, I was worried that I'd love Dan on the pod, but not in stand-up. And he was like, but it's great, and I'm looking forward to your tour. I was at 40% strength. I was a bit discombobulated by the room. This is what it was like. They weren't cunts, but they didn't know what they were doing. One woman stopped the show to ask a question politely, and then you're like, it happened again. And it's a weird one to scold an audience, because it wasn't like they were like, oh, fuck off. It wasn't like that. But to mid-performance, when it was clearly, I was struggling to get rhythm going, some bits were working, other bits weren't, to stop and go, can I ask a question? You're like, well, you can, but not fucking really.
What was the question?
It's like, my son's got £2,000 invested in Bitcoin. Should I be charging him rent? And it was it summed up the gig. It was really, she was in a huff because she'd been told to fuck off. So I sort of understand, but she had been a cunt. There was the girls at the front were chatting. The Holland and Dutch girl, the German and the Dutch girl were like, what is this? I'm like, I don't know what it is either, to be honest. And then 2 or 3 people asked questions. So to the guy that came and was very nice on the email, honestly, that was not a great representation of me doing stand-up. Partly because it's so fresh being back on the circuit. I'm so not match fit that I let myself wander in after driving, instead of driving home and getting changed, driving straight to Leeds, getting there early and going fucking shopping without my notebook and then going, I'll just work it out. It was the worst gig to be trying to work it out. It was scatty. It was messy. It was people interrupting. The compare was eggy. So on Saturday, I was like, Laura, I've got Etta, because it's a bit full on in the day. I was like, I'm going to take her to soft play. Because Etta's now at the age where instead of like having to find her in soft play because she's like, I've fallen over, you can just fucking release her into the wild. Also, one of the lads at the soft play recognised me. I had 2 hours with my notebook and I was like, I needed Friday as a little flick. Like, it's all very well going to do hot water new material and be like, I've come up with these new bits and I'm playing around. You get to Leeds, people have paid 15 quid and you've got to twat a show out. And you can't be like, oh, I didn't want to do a couple of these bits. So I got my notebook out, I prepared properly, went on the Saturday and fucking hoofed it in a way that was really reassuring. So apologies to that guy who came on the Friday. Do come again to see me on the circuit. Where it was the most night and day. I actually drove back on the Friday going, got to pull your fucking socks up. Because the podcast has made me go, oh, we're sorted. We're not. I've still got to turn up and do the job.
I had the exact same thing on Saturday. So Friday this week, I did the Runcorn gig, which is a piece of piss, and I compared, and it was fun, and I felt sort of like I was getting back on my feet. But it's still very much a home gig, that. It's my gig. Do you know what I mean? I do it 3 or 4 times a year.
You were literally the promoter.
And then Saturday, I did Brighton Comedia. Now, I put this in ages ago, because they'd gone, gigs don't exist. We've got one when they're allowed to exist. Do you want it? And I went, yeah. And then I have never dreaded a gig more in my life. Because I was like, because the hotel's in Brighton, because the weekend was like 400 quid for the juries. And I was like, I'm getting 200 quid to do 2 sets, 100 each.
Which is half of what they normally pay, innit?
Yeah. So I was like, what am I fucking doing here? I was like, I'm going to have to drive there and back. It's going to be 11 hours in the car. And I took my little brother with me. He wanted to just get out the house, and I'm happy for the company. And the early show.
How was the drive?
The drive was actually all right. Like, there was not much traffic. I paid for the M6 toll, which I think is the best £5.90 you can spend. Like,
love the toll.
Like, if you're like dying, right, and you're on the M6 and you're on the way to hospital, and it's like it's £5.90 for the medicine, or you can go on the toll. I still think you should just go on the toll and hope you get better. It's that much better than being on the actual M6. It's phenomenal.
Phenomenal. It's a Tory dream, isn't it? Just sailing like, oh, this is what it would be like if there was no poor people. And you genuinely feel like you should be able to speed and potentially murder someone. Like, of course I killed someone. I'm on the fucking toll road.
So I got there, all fine. Got there about an hour before the gig. So I had a little walk around Brighton, down to the beach and stuff. And then that early show, it went okay, but I wasn't good. Do you know what I mean? The audience were there, and it was fine. But I come off, and the other act's like, oh, it was great, that. And I'm like, it's not, though. It's not. I'm not ready. The bits aren't, like, finished yet, which is fine. I'm fine with the bits not being finished, because they shouldn't be. I only wrote them last week. I'm not in a rhythm. I'm getting to the end of jokes and taking 3 seconds before I start the next bit, instead of just going straight into it. And I was like...
So tricky remembering your set when you're out of like practice,
Yeah.
innit?
So then, because it hadn't really worked, I shit out a bit on the Late Show, and I did my Victoria's Secret routine, because I was like, I just want to make sure I smash at least a bit of this. So I did it, and then it made everything else better, because it gave me the confidence, and I was like, right, tomorrow, because on Sunday I had to do hot water, I was like, tomorrow, you're at hot water, and I've just made sure, I was like, I'm going to have to volley this. And I thought I was opening. I turn up, it's Tom Stade, Jojo Sutherland, and Danny McLaughlin's comparing. And I walk in the green room, and on the website, I was the first act listed, which normally means that you're opening. I'm closing. So I walk in, Tom Stade's on, who was a hero of mine before I started stand-up. He's amazing, he's a colleague, and he's fucking great.
He's rock and roll as well, and you want to look good in front of Stade.
And he went on and hoofed it. Danny was on fire comparing. Jojo smashed it in the middle. And I was like, if I'm even as good as I was on the Late Show last night at Brighton, it's not going to be enough here. And I forced myself to not do any old stuff. I was like, you don't crutch it in here with Victoria's Secret. You do your new stuff and you volley it. And I just did. I was like, do you know what I think it was at that early show as well? It's just something I'm guilty of every now and then when I'm tired or bored or pissed off or whatever. I forget to perform. I'm just talking. And a lot of my stuff isn't very performative. But when you're saying, let's let a few old people die and get back out there. If you're not smiling when you say that.
Charming them.
Yeah. You've got to sell it.
It's an awful thing to say.
Yeah.
So you do it like, come on.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. So that early show in Brighton on Saturday, I was like, I didn't perform. The Late Show I did. And then Sunday, I was energetic, full of life, and it just gives the bits more. It just makes them work.
Oh, mate, at Hot Water doing those new material, I was doing more voices. I was fucking moving around more. That whenever I get nervous, I just go 25% more camp and then act out. Because it's like you get like, oh, I'm going to make up for it with a bit of performance. Like that. If you do enough gigs, sometimes I can be guilty of being like, this is funny, so I'm just going to do it, and you should get all the funny bits.
Yeah.
Sometimes when there's a bit of nervous excitement, you just sell it more.
Yeah.
I'm always funnier when I'm having fun.
Yeah.
And I think the crowd pick up. You and me have had very similar weekends there, like a gig where you've been like,
Yeah.
And I know you had it in one
And
night.
it was my first away day. That's what it was as well. Every other gig I've done since I've been back has either been at Hot Water or a gig that I book in Runcorn. Yeah. And it was Brighton, which is like as far south and as southern as it's possible to be. And it's just that it was just an away gig, and I played it like I was in Hot Water.
And you've been in the car for 5 hours. Not ideal.
No, not at all.
I think Brighton's got it in it to be one of the best places to gig, and because there's a lot of people there who are visiting Brighton and they're in a good mood. It's like, hey, we're at fucking Brighton. And it's also quite liberal. It's just, I love Brighton for that. It's also got it in it to be a bit, it's not like snidey, just a bit sort of smug sometimes. And I think the idea is like, oh, you're a northern comic, therefore whenever I've had a weird one in that room, and I've played there for years, you can sense it's like, oh, just another northern comic. And you're like, no, I've got some good bits. Yeah. But I think it can be a bit meh. Yeah. But when it's rocking, that's so much better. So, did you drive back that night?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, what time did you get in?
3:30.
Jesus.
Could have been worse. The fact that I was open and helped. and it was a 9:15 start. So for the late show. So I was done by 9:45.
I love it that the jury's in have gone, right, we lost a lot of money over the last 12, 18 months, and now we need to make it back. 400 fucking quid.
460 quid it was for the juries in.
Oh, and that's a nice... Of all the hotels that they let you stay in, like that a club books for you, that's a really good one. But I'll be fucked if I'm paying 460.
Yeah.
The absolute shitholes that I'd be staying in if I had to pay for my own hotels.
Drove back. Sunday, I went to Southport for the day with the missus. That was fun. Then did the gigs at Hot Water. And then yesterday, just went on a little day sesh with my missus and just got drunk and had fun. And at one point, we just started taking ugly selfies of ourselves and airdropping them to anyone. Do you know airdrop on the iPhone?
Yeah.
So if you
Is it just Bluetooth?
No.
Was it not?
I don't really know how it works.
It's essentially like Apple's Bluetooth, but
Yeah.
like you get the picture without. You have to accept or decline, but you see the picture.
Yeah.
Is it just where whoever's in your
Yeah,
direct?
like
Well, it must be
a
Bluetooth.
certain diameter.
Right.
You just go on airdrop, and everyone who's got an iPhone, that is open. It only works if it's open. So if people are on the phones, you can airdrop them a picture. So me and Sam were just taking like horrible selfies and just sending it to like Jamie, and then looking around for the guys to be like, "Who the fuck sent me this?" And everyone's just laughing their heads off. We were just pissed and having fun. It was great.
So nice that the fucking weather's in. Oh my god, was that a beer garden?
It was on a rooftop garden
Oh darling,
opposite the Liver building. Just got to stare at the Liver building in the water.
nice. Fucking rooftops. Come on. When are we having a night out, Lids? Like, I know we're about to do a ghost hunt, and I know we've got the London live show at some point in September. Can we arrange some form of me coming to Liverpool and you basically being my guides around? I need to feel alive. I've just booked in. That sounds so harsh. It's just, I'm just in a lot. I'm just home a lot. I've gone from not watching films or like loads of box sets. I'm like literally like ticking off the list of stuff that I've not watched. Just sat with the babe. I want to book in some form of night out.
I mean, we're good at them.
Yeah.
We are good at
Do
them.
that soon.
Yeah.
I've got a few weekends off.
21st. We'll do it post 21st of June, so we know we're going to get a proper night out rather than
Yeah, man.
a weird fucking rules night
That
out.
better fucking happen.
I think it will.
Yeah?
I think it's gone
It's not
past the
gonna.
point of. Do you not
No.
think?
I think they're going to push it back by a month and then do it.
Yeah.
Think?
This Indian variant's a bit of an issue.
I think
Now there's a Thai variant, and now there's another one as well. And they're all really scary and a problem, and everyone's definitely asked.
So do we have to get, do we have to get another vaccine then?
Yeah, we have to get an Indian vaccine.
Yeah.
From a guy that took.
What's that called?
Hello? Collection, delivery, Pfizer, AstraZeneca. Which one do you want?
You want pilau rice?
Will you peel rice or
South African pilau rice?
peel rice? I don't give a fuck about your vaccine. I want that diamond. Do you really think it's going to be delayed by a month? You look like you're having a panic attack. You all right?
I felt like I was having a stroke watching that then. I don't know what it was.
What do you think they think when they watch it every fucking week?
What were you asking me? What?
21st of June, is it going to happen?
They're constantly building it up, aren't they? Where they're like, oh, it might be a problem, this variant thing, so we'll make a decision a week before, and we don't know really, but we're going to try.
Ringo Starr?
Ringo Starr.
Yeah, Ringo Starr's
Ringo
now in
Starr's
charge.
the Prime Minister.
Thomas wanted these restrictions to end, but the fat controller, the fat controller said there's going to have to be a month more of social distancing. Thomas thought he was a cunt.
Isn't it mad though? Ringo Starr's a Beatle, but he's an absolute gobshite to everyone hates.
I would never want to speak for
Apparently
Liverpool.
he's not even the
but
best drummer in the Beatles as well.
Oh yeah, that's a
Pete
good.
Best
good.
was the best.
Adam's doing John Lennon jokes from 1968.
Do you know that's a common misconception? Do you know who actually said that?
Candy?
Sol Campbell.
You're not far away.
Who was
Jasper Carrott said that.
What?
He's to the line, he's not even the best drummer in the Beatles.
it? Yeah.
That was Jasper Carrott who
It was
said
John Lennon.
it wasn't.
I've seen the video of him saying it.
You haven't.
I have.
It's Jasper Carrott said it. It's
He's
a really
Ja-
common
yeah.
misconception.
Finn will know.
Little known thing that
All right? There you go.
Jasper Carrott.
Jasper Carrott was in the Beatles. Isn't that right? Jasper Carrott was in the Beatles. It was Pete Best and Jasper Carrott.
Do you remember
He's the one
Golden
that people always forget.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, John Lennon, and Jasper Carrott.
Yeah. Jilly Bean in America's like, guys, what are we even
He
talking
played
about?
synth, didn't he?
What?
Didn't play synth.
They all
Yeah,
play
he did.
synth.
We all think-
Have you ever seen that video? I love my life as a dickhead. Have you seen
I'm
it?
gonna put it on.
I love my life as a dickhead.
What a
All my
great-
friends are dickheads too. Come with me, let's be dickhead. How did you
used to sing this all
hide?
the
Being a dickhead's cool. You never seen this video?
That would have been A, a great name for this podcast. And B, what an Edinburgh show title that would be.
What? I love my life as a
I
dickhead.
love my life as a dickhead.
My second ever solo show was going to be called My Life is Full of Dickheads. And it got cancelled because my mum died.
You weren't like, down one dickhead. Really? This one's for you, Anne.
Looks like it's been taken off YouTube.
Fucking hell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Went to my Mars grave
here
the
we
other day.
go.
Do you do that? Do you go to
Can
grave
I do this
of family members?
with the mum's grave? Should I not play this song?
Why?
I think we might have moved past it. Should we end the section on it if you can find it?
Go on. I found it.
Go on, put the telly on.
Do you don't put the telly on it? He's having a stroke. You'll distract. You'll distract him. Just wait for the end of the section. He won't be able to concentrate.
Do you go to graves? Is what I'm asking you.
Look, what have you done?
I'll play it at the end of
It's
the section.
fine.
Talking about graves.
I know a lot of people put a lot by that. My mum got fucking burnt up in a family tradition. Get her in the fucking oven. Gone too soon. Adam's oven. My mum. And Roe. I couldn't give a shit where that little plaque is. Doesn't mean anything to me. And my sister goes regularly. And she's like, I just get mum's hand and go. It's just think.
Where are your Mars ashes?
In just next to Hurstgrange Park, where we're from, in Penwitham.
Have they been buried, yeah?
They've been put in a row of. It just looks like she's a dead soldier.
Yeah.
It's fucking rows and rows and rows of dead people. It's depressing. She's just hidden her somewhere, like in a park. You're not allowed to put ashes there. She's a fucking twat
Like
under
a
a tree.
Horcrux.
Yeah, like a hawk. Just like that. So no, I don't get anything from it. If anything, I just find it more like, oh yeah, everybody dies. It's just depressing.
I do get something from it, but I don't know why.
But it's hard not to, because there's just rows and rows of dead people and crying relatives. The memory of my mum, not to sound like an absolute fucking thespian, it's like, it's in me, innit? That's where I get that. I get solace from that.
I think it's just
think
somewhere
about
to-
my mum. Like, I don't think about my mum when she was dying and ill, which apparently my sister suffers from. She's like, I can remember, if I think of mum, it pops up when she was in her final stages, which, if I think about now, was horrific to see her like that. Like, she was in horrific pain. She was crippled. It was horrible. But I have to purposely think of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I think of my mum. I think of the nice things.
When I think of my mum, I remember being younger. I remember being in the house we grew up in, not the bungalow that she died in.
I think time sieves it out, doesn't it? Weirdly. Time sieves like the memories and it's just the nice stuff that stays.
I think if you're lucky, because I think it's just how the trauma affected you, and whether you like it or not, it's one form or other of a trauma, isn't it? And then what does your brain do? Because if every time I thought of mum, it clicked to that last 6 months, maybe I'd get more from going to a grave and then forcing myself to think about something else. I don't know.
I don't know what I get out of it. I
that-
just feel good when I've been, and I don't know why. And I don't know. I was saying this to Jack. I took our Jack with me. It was on her birthday. Just went to put some flowers there and stuff, and it just, I don't know, because essentially, me Ma's body is in a box there, and worms and rats are pissing on it and biting it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
And
Do you
that
know what I
makes you
mean?
feel good. That makes you feel good.
Yeah, no.
I come away going, do you know what? Rats have got to piss somewhere.
No, but what I mean is, like, I should be thinking that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I should be like, there's fucking rats nibbling on me Mars tits there. Do you know what I mean? But I don't.
Yeah.
I am so glad my mum was cremated. Fucking hell.
I don't think
There's
rats-
rats nibbling on my mum's tits.
don't
And do you
think
know how
rats
much
are that deep.
bullshit we talk on this podcast? All three of us went, yeah, all right. It's a valid statement on have a word.
I don't think they go that deep.
What?
I don't think critters go that deep.
It's only 6 foot.
No, I don't think rats go that deep.
6 foot.
Yeah, I know, but you know,
In the soil.
Yeah, they do. They do, especially because
it's like a comedy club down there. It's like rat hot water. It's a basement. They love basement rooms. They burrow in.
No, but the rotten flesh attracts them. Do you know, like when you go past a restaurant and you're like, what's that? Rats are like that with dead people, aren't they? They're like,
that's Adam's Ma's tits. Oh, dear me, that was
This
dark.
is the most random thing ever. Never met your mum, and she's your mum, and I feel offended for her. So you went? Did you go with Sam?
no, I went with Jack.
Right. Yeah. Right. Was that part of the drive to Brighton? Fucking hell. Yeah, the early show was shit. Late one was better. Let's drive home. 3:30 in the morning. Let's go see mum. All right. Don't listen for the nibbling, Jack. Don't listen for the nibbling. I've been here before. What's that smell? Let's hope it's a takeaway. Fact, your mum shouldn't be buried near a takeaway.
Graveyards are mad, I think.
Why?
It is just literally a big field full of dead people, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I quite like some graveyards. Like there's something eerily, I don't mind, but the old ones where you're like, 1865.
You want a new build?
Mate, the new ones where it's like that. This is what I really found depressing. When my mum first got put in that little spot, and it's not much, it's just a little spot. She was the last one in, and then the next time I visited her, there was like 12 more, and then they started another row, and now I go, and she's in the old sections, and there's 3 more, and you're just like, everybody dies. Like I don't like when you go to the old graveyards, and it's a little bit like I think. That architecture and the stones are old. Quite like that. Not like it.
Do you own the land? Can you build property on that?
What?
The plot.
I think you need planning permission.
When you get a plot, when I've never had to organise for you. Do you own that land?
No, there's very, very strict rules within the. What do you mean you can't? What?
Right,
Start an ice cream stand on Adam's mum's fucking grave? Hey, she's been in the ground a fucking age. People want ice creams. You miss your granddad. It's a warm day. Come and get a screwball. Yeah, you can't put an ice cream van there. We own the plot. And Anne loved a fucking flake.
Here's the thing with an ice cream van, though. Like, genuinely, when you go to the grave, you just drive your car and park wherever you can, don't you? And then you go to the graveyard. Like, an ice cream van is just a big car full of ice cream.
And it'd smash it as well.
So you could just drive in, and if they're like, whoa, no ice cream vans are large, like, I'm just using it as a car. And then if people come up to you and they're like, can I have an ice cream? You're like,
yeah.
You'd be like, I'm not going to not sell an ice cream.
Right, yeah.
What?
I think they'd be onto you when you changed your ice cream. You know the song that it plays, like ding, ding, da, ding, ding, da, ding, 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 ding.
Imagine that was an ice cream van.
I could open my chip butty shop.
Yeah, chip butty van on
Can I lend it?
Allerton.
Can I
Lend me mum's thing.
Yeah,
if you want.
No.
Do you know what?
It's in a prime spot as well.
When I die,
Yeah.
hopefully there's a bit of fucking ROWE bags in the bank. There's a bit of money.
Yeah.
I want a fucking massive bit. I don't just want a little fucking shitty thing I have to give everyone. I want like, not quite Tutankhamun pyramid level.
Do you reckon? Where's that bit of Sefton Park been fucking fenced off? Adam Rowe's dad. It's in his will. He wants it. Not a Tutankhamun pyramid.
But on the plot of land, so I'm dead, fucking massive headstone like the size of this wall.
Adam's
right?
gone. Adam's gone.
Eddie Murphy and that, you know, all these are hung up. And I want a permanent ice cream van.
Right.
And it's free. It's unmanned. You just go and help yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're not leaving any money to your family. You're leaving your money to an independently owned co-op ice cream van that will forever, until your wealth runs out, give free ice creams away to mourners.
Yeah. Only the ones that will come to mourn me, though. You've got to come and, like...
Right.
Actually, maybe we will man it, and he makes sure that you're being nice about me, and then you get an ice cream. So people can come and be like, fucking loved Adam. Half of where it was boss. Yeah, lad.
Have a lollipop.
Yeah,
Twister.
What did you think of Adam Rowe? Fab. Well, that's what you get. fucking mental. I swear to God, the way his head works. If he'd have been born 2,000 years ago and got any sniffer power, so many people would have died. I want a big fucking... I swear to God, I actually believe that when you die, it won't just be a little tombstone.
It'll be in the States, like fucking Lennon.
Yeah.
You have to go and see him. As in Lenin, not Lennon. Sorry, Finn.
Yeah, he was
Very different people.
He was another Beatle. Lennon was another great Beatle.
So, Carl, I believe
Shit
you've got a funny video for us to watch.
Oh, yeah.
I want my ashes in a comedy club dressing room. Said it before.
Do you?
Yeah, I want it in the frog on a shelf saying, "You think you just died?" Pow.
I'm
Right
dead.
there.
I want to be like, what you call it when you stuff a fucking cat when it's dead?
Embalmed. You want to be mummified?
I want to
Taxidermy.
Taxidermy, yeah.
Yeah, I want to be taxidermed, and
It's definitely not the past tense, but I get what you mean.
and I want to be in a green room as well, just in the corner, just like. But I'll get them to taxidermy face like I'm laughing, so I'm just permanently
Mate.
in the corner. Also, like,
I swear to God, it's already one of the smallest dressing rooms in comedy. Imagine how fucking annoying that'd be on the open spot night with Paul Smith having to navigate around all these new comedians and then Adam in the corner like, where'd you put your coats? Just stick them on, Adam.
oh no, put me here in this chair, so you can carry on the pod, but I'm still your co-host in death. So I'm just constantly like,
Jesus Christ.
We could just lock the doors and treat this as like a big tomb.
Where's Ishan sitting?
Yeah, we'd have to just lie him on the floor of a Lunya.
We got asked that recently. If both of us died, who would you replace us with? It was a question. I didn't get to it last week. Because we've had if Adam died, who would I call up? And if I died, who would Adam call up? But if both of us died in a taxidermy accident,
That's a good question.
who's your go-to?
Ant and Dec be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it would, wouldn't it?
Okay, I'm mistaken comedy circa.
No, realistically, who would you that you could get? Because I think there's loads of options of people that would be amazing. But who have you seen in this room?
I'd probably go with Fred.
The weatherman.
No. Dead, isn't he? Is he a dead nonce?
He's a nonce. I think he's in prison.
Is he in prison? Oh, I think we've Googled that before. Yeah. I think I'd go with Freddie.
We've done that, dead nonce. Freddie Quinn.
I'd probably go with a lady.
Oh, here he is. Fucking Mr. BBC. Taking boxes.
Well, you've not got lots to choose from.
No. I don't know, actually.
God, Carl, you're taking this seriously.
Just lost a lot of respect for you there.
What?
Not that, just because you went, I'd go for a lady. You didn't have anyone in mind. You were just like, just because it's a lady.
It's important, isn't it?
Bollocks.
All right, then I'd go with Fred, the weatherman. No, I'll go with Freddie Quinn, and I reckon Rob Mulholland would work well with Freddie.
Nah, be shite.
If you're watching, Rob.
I'd love to just leave it at that.
Be shite, though.
It wouldn't be as good as this.
Yeah. I think
Adam would haunt the studio because he'd get competitive.
Glenn Wall and Josh Jones.
that'd be great. That would actually be phenomenal. Glenn Wool.
I don't know if either of those guys would enjoy doing that podcast. George Orwell of fucking like Canadian comics, like fucking rock and roll, and Josh Jones, young camp gay guy.
Who
That
would
would be
replace me
fun to watch.
If me and Finn died in a helicopter accident or paragliding accident, who would you replace us with?
Probably the best candidate for the job based on their application.
But they're getting less.
Is it
Fact. Yeah. No, it would be awful. I reckon we'd have to, miss a pod?
If they died.
Both of them.
Depends what day.
Monday?
Like
If you could die Thursday night, so we could be back here, we'll have a Monday off.
If they die on a record day, then we'd be like, oh, we should probably, out of respect, not do it. But if they died on Wednesday, and we've already paid for fucking Nigel Ng's train.
Who are you getting though?
Getting what?
Who's replacing me in the Finley?
Not Nigel Ung.
Yeah, just go on fucking producers.com and find someone.
Right.
Producers.com.
Anybody on producers.com, you want to sign up? Then
Probably for me, a woman, because I'm on your side.
a black woman or a white woman?
Easy. Adam looks like he's in the Sahara Desert, suffering from horrific dehydration.
Sunstroke.
I love how far beyond playing this video we are, and I still want to play it.
Well, we can
What's
just,
it called?
we can
I
just
love my
end the
life.
section with it.
Yeah,
we'll
let's
watch it and they can watch it with us.
Yeah.
It's just a video.
I found that death bit really interesting. That was good. Good work. That I found that nice one, boys.
We used to watch this years ago, and
Who's it by? Jasper Carrot.
Yeah,
it's Jasper Carrot, Lennon, the other one.
I know every word to this.
Yeah, I think I do.
Was it the detectives he was on?
This video is just about, the
Brilliant.
Soho Theatre in London. You know the
Yes.
people who are in there,
Yeah.
but aren't comedians.
Yeah.
You know the patrons of that place
Yeah.
and scene.
It's this.
Moved out to an East London flat.
Swat.
On a fixie bike, got a +1 ticket for this tonight. I play synth.
We all play synth.
Funny vision, just a pair of empty frames. Dressing like an although I never got the grades. I remember when the kids at school would call me names. Now I'm taking over their estates. Whoa, love my life as a dickhead. All my friends are dickheads too. Come with me, lad. Haven't you heard?
Bee Gees.
Oh, that's who sings it.
This is the Bee Gees, yeah.
It's the Bee Gees.
And Jasper Carrot. One more verse.
Who is this, by the way?
It's just a YouTuber, I think.
Can I just say, I spent the first minute and a half going, this is not Jasper Carrot, this.
It's not.
You couldn't get in.
Ugh, that's London.
Whoa. I'm bored now.
Let's have a break.
Basically, I'm a part-time blogger and I design my own jewellery line, which is like a mix of religious iconography, kind of with a Saved by the Bell vibe.
I organise a vegan crunk night.
Yeah, I'm currently writing my own magazine and it's all about my balls.
We're putting on this rave in this abandoned mosque, and all the proceeds are going to that thing that happened in the Middle East or Africa or whatever.
Jew.
Oh, there we go.
I don't know where that came from, Carl.
Um,
It was Callum, by the way. Callum Long. Thanks for the bit of support about the Leeds gig, mate.
so I want us to have 300 million Patreons. Carl says that he doesn't even think Netflix has got that much.
I don't think
But I
it
think
has.
we're better than Netflix.
Netflix has 200 million subscribers. But
Right.
everyone's got
expensive, though.
Everyone's got at least one person on their on their I've got 4 on mine. And I'm the bill payer.
God, you're such a giving person,
I am.
aren't you? Apart from to the Jewish people.
No, they've taken it off.
What do you reckon the ceiling is? I missed that. I don't know what got said. It's
Go on.
okay.
Let's keep going.
What do you reckon the ceiling is? How many Patreons could we get?
100k.
100,000?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I think we can hit 100k. We're about to hit 4k.
Yeah.
4K in a year.
Yeah.
I don't think 100,000 is unfeasible.
It's like 100. It's a the number one
You having a little moment there, Dan?
The largest Patreon has 20. That's
That's
not
old. Right. That's old data because Andrew Schultz has got more than that.
Right.
Tim Dillon's got 25, hasn't he? 20,
Yeah.
25.
I think we could feasibly get 250,000 Patreon subscribers.
250,000.
Yeah.
We're very, very British, which is one of our drawbacks in it. I think we could do 10 times what we're doing now.
40.
Realistically,
40K.
if we kept going for 3, 4, 5 years, and by then, if we're at that level, and you're making, what's that, $1 million, $1.5 million a year, just off a Patreon, I don't care if you've murdered my relatives. I will turn up here, put a smile on, and do some would you rathers. It will have not pressed record. I'll be like, why don't you fucking die, you dickhead? Hey, fucking banter. Were you in Leeds? I was in Leeds.
Okay, so these aren't correct. There's one with 36,000. I think it's like I think it's a crime one that's number one, like a crime podcast, and I think they've got about 60, 70,000.
It's a very those massive number patrons are American.
Yeah.
You've got a bigger pool of people to draw from, and you've got also a bigger reach internationally. What we've done is UK based, isn't it?
Hat.
All right. Okay. Cool. So just need to get that hat out more, and then we'll crack America.
We want that dream on whether we on as often as possible. Open us up to the American market. This week's episode sponsored by Draymond's Barbecue Restaurant.
His voice has changed quite a bit since
Yeah.
Draymond was a guest.
You don't know
But
Draymond.
that's Adam though, isn't it? You're Adam.
I'm Adam, yeah.
You're
Do an
Dave.
impression of Draymond.
Yeah.
Um,
Hercules. The woo scale's great. Woo! Sit him near the damn window.
Yeah, we got the woo scare. You beat?
if we get 40,000 patrons doing that shite, I will be fucking entertained.
Do you know? Right. Do you know when I sat there? Because, look.
Your fart's still lingering, by the way.
Me far from
Yeah.
the break.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a powerful one. It's full of alcohol. Enjoy it. It's there to be enjoyed. I'm going to tell the listeners a little secret. So when Draymond went away was on the couch, that was actually me. I was playing a character.
What?
Mind's blown.
Right? Now, here's the thing. I think, because that was all completely improvised. Right?
I think people could tell.
Right? But I think that I'm better at improv than any improv comedian I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I've never seen funny improv, and that was brilliant, what I did over there.
Who's the best improv comic?
Don't know.
What was
All
it?
shite.
What's the next line or something? What was it called?
Yeah, what's
Whose
the next line?
Whose line is it
The
anyway?
Aldi version. What's the next line? With a guy from down the road.
Whose line is it anyway?
Your Auntie Margaret.
Gravel.
Gravel. The bullshit that you can flow if you tune it in is so good. You don't freeze. You just keep slinging. Yeah. I freeze. I go, what? It's impressive watching you churn out bullshit.
I can do any kind
Sean Walsh was good at it when we had him on.
Yeah, he's very, 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 very
Oh,
good.
mate, that's going to be such a fucking episode.
That'll be out.
In the can. Absolutely, mate. I drove away
Do we-
going, shit, people are going to love that.
I've been thinking about coming up with some other characters and putting on a character show. I was thinking it could be a lady as well.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's the lady called?
Clarissa,
Can she be like...
Clarissa. Where's she from?
Texas.
So it's just they do the different voice.
Can she be like a vegan?
No. Okay. She can be.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Yeah. No, so this isn't Clarissa. This is.
Dan, fix it for him. So
No, it's better that it's not fixed.
that's on you.
It's better that.
There we go.
Is this character black?
My name's Abigail.
Abigail.
For the audio listeners, Adam... Oh, no. Yeah. Adam has a blue wig on.
Yeah. I'm from Sussex.
He's from Sussex.
But me dad's
you know what-
a Scouser.
Right. Okay.
Sounds as well.
So now you're Scouse. All right.
What?
You're a Sussex Scouser.
No.
Right. Now you
I'm
sound like you're
from
from the Wirral.
What?
Sussex on the Wirral.
All right, I'm from the Whittle.
Right.
Hoylake.
Spent a lot of time developing Abigail as a character. I'm from Sussex. My dad was a Scouser. No, I'm from the Wirral.
I've been to Sussex,
Right.
but I was born and raised on Hoy Lake.
Right.
What are
Yeah.
your views in terms of eating meat and animal products?
I think that even eating vegetables is murder. Unless it's actually fallen from the tree
Is that
itself.
because you're eating the animal's food?
No, it's because they're living. And just because humans
falling
have
from
figured
trees.
out how to make guns and that doesn't mean that we should be just eating everything.
Right. Abigail, have you got stage 4 cancer? What's going on with the wig, sweetheart? You need a fucking vegetable or some protein, animal-based protein.
Dan, can you sort us out for
No, don't. Abigail's fine. I would never presume to touch a woman's head.
Yeah, don't do that. This is made from horse hair, but the horse died of natural causes, so it's okay.
Was it a gay horse?
What? What?
Bright blue horse's hair? Or did you die afterwards?
I
I think you fucking murdered a unicorn to make your wig.
I just think that
Right, yeah.
I think I'm done.
Do you know what made that more brutal was just before that I was like, Adam's amazing. He can just keep spouting bullshit. And I just saw the little flicker in his eye when he went, no, I haven't got any more for Abigail.
Looks like you're in Fleetwood Mac now.
You look like the ugliest girl on a stag do. I know girls will go with cowboys. You look really nice, Mandy.
Lad, put the Liverpool beanie on instead. Oh my sweet Jesus.
Oh.
For the audio listeners, Adam has his torso out.
For the audio listeners, Dan just got an erection. Ding.
Well, some of these titties, boy.
Oh my God, you look like a woman.
Carl, put the aircon back on. He's having another stroke.
Want some of these titties, boy? My name's Clarissa Weatherby, and I'm here to cheat on my husband. I will fuck you till you die, boy. I will drain the cum out those balls like it's a froob.
You can't reference Froobs in a blowjob threat.
Can you put the Liverpool hat on like you go on the game?
What?
There's a Liverpool beanie hat. I'd look lovely with that wig.
What? Does Clarissa take what?
Drugs.
I'll take anything you got, buddy.
What are you wearing?
Clothes.
So I've got some questions.
If you skip through this episode 5 minutes at a time, Adam is slowly having a breakdown.
And it's not that slow. Literally just talking about our dead mums before the break, and now Adam's dressed as his. She was a classy lady. From Sussex. Right, I'd like to hit that 40,000 patrons. Should we do some questions? Yeah. Because you keep just going. We've just been watching Bo Burnham's clips of Bo Burnham's special in the break that has just come out on Netflix that isn't that good. It's amazing. Amazing.
Oh my God.
Harry Robinson says, not a question, but just please talk about Bo Burnham's Inside special. He said it's absolute art.
It's just really fucking great.
It's ingenious, isn't it?
He's shot, edited, directed, performed, written, and filmed, and done everything himself in a room. And it took him over a year. And he's basically having a nervous breakdown while he's doing it, and that's in the special as well. And it's just like, you know, when you were talking about like Tracy Emin's bed and that, right? And that's art in it, and I don't get it, but it speaks to people. It speaks to me.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
And from the bits that we've just watched, I've not watched the full thing. What a great way of summing up the claustrophobia of the pandemic.
Yeah.
When you're I mean, he lives in New York, I assume. So, I mean, I remember saying this last year when we were doing the shutdown dailies. Like, to have a garden was such a fucking touch. So I've had mates in London that when I spoke to them, they were really struggling. You could hear the strain more than a lot of my friends from up north who can afford gardens because it's cheaper. In New York, that was probably the experience for a lot of people. Genuine lockdown, stuck in rooms because it's expensive. Bo Burnham's doing well, but in London and in New York, what does that count for? 2, 3, 4 rooms at most.
Oh no, he's got a garden and stuff.
Has he got a garden?
Yeah. That's in his like outhouse.
Oh wow! So
Like,
I thought that looked like an apartment.
He's a multi-millionaire.
Right.
He's not living in a.
No, but multimillionaires in New York still live in apartments, though, don't they?
Yeah.
So I thought it was in an apartment.
He's from a little town in Massachusetts.
Right.
Like, the common misconception is that he's from Boston.
Right. So I was watching that, and that like those clips you shot, and they're just brilliant, and it's dark, and obviously charting his mental unrest. But it's going to be held if you're talking about things that will be examples of the life in a pandemic. Just from the 10, 15 minutes that I've just watched, that feeling of claustrophobia, so well.
There's a bit where he just starts crying. Like he's just talking about being unwell, and he just loses it. He's just not well mentally. But he's left it in, and it's better for it. It's just unbelievable. Like I haven't really stopped thinking about it since I watched it.
It's
Can I
not.
have a can of Coke, please?
It's not pure comedy, is it? Obviously,
It's like it's a performance, isn't it? In terms of every
It's
bit
just
of
a very
every facet
dark,
of art, really.
funny, interest. I think they're in the box under the thing, Finn. Oh, there you go.
that's the argument for people in Edinburgh who do the emotional bit and try and evoke feelings, and everyone's like, it's not fucking comedy if you're just trying to make everyone cry. There's a weird balance, isn't there, by like what is
but,
comedy
like,
and what is.
It is still funny. He's made it funny. There's parts of it that, you know, it's not meant to be an hour of stand-up. It's not trying to be that. It's like when people have a go at Nanette. People are like, oh, it's not comedy. It is in parts. In other parts, it's not trying to be. Like, something can be funny and then be interesting and be whatever. It doesn't always have to be ha 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 all the way through. I prefer, if I'm watching a comedian stage show, I want them to be as funny as possible for the hour, but stuff like that, it is just different, and it does just make you feel different things. It's incredible. It's not the funniest thing on Netflix, but it's incredible.
I would argue that there are times at the Edinburgh Festival where that's a different version of the same thing. Like, people are going up to Edinburgh, they are part of the industry, they've watched a lot of comedy, and they're not trying to do funny for an hour. They're trying to evoke the same feelings that Bo Burnham's just tried to evoke with Inside. And it gets, for some people, they just want Peter Kay, funny, accessible, smashing it. Kevin Bridges, yes, fucking smash. And that is really, that's comedy, that's stand-up comedy. But there are places within the industry, within the art form, where you can push the boundaries and test and just be more honest and more open and have those harrowing moments that offset the comedy really well. And that's what it looks like he's tried to do. Like, it's really easy to dismiss the Edinburgh shows. Like, Nanette gets absolutely hammered because it's not, like Adam says, it's not just trying to be funny. It's trying to tell a brutal, like, disconcerting, upsetting story around a show. I'm going to watch it. It's not going to be for everyone. Is that fair?
It's very easy. I think it's very easy to consume.
Right.
No, but you're above a base level consumer of comedy. Like, there'll be people who watch that who will be like, what the fuck's this?
Yeah, maybe.
But, like, if you're a fan of this podcast, for example, and you watch comedy a lot and you've listened to us talk about comedy for over a year, or you've worked in comedy for a decade, it'll be incredible.
Mike Birbiglia has got a show on Netflix called Thank God for Jokes.
Yeah.
And that's more of a stand-up show, but has that same thing of, like, it's not just trying to be funny for the full hour. It's very like it's like an Edinburgh show. If you're never going to go to the Fringe, and me and Adam have basically said we might never go again, and you haven't been, and you're like, what does a Fringe show look like? Mike Birbiglia's Thank God for Jokes is very like an Edinburgh show. It's a stand-up doing a performance that has a through line of story, like this is the point he's trying to make, and then he backs it up with an argument with the pieces of material. And some bits aren't like absolutely smash it out of the park funny, but you get to the end of it and you go, it's fascinating, interesting, thought-provoking,
I've never watched
and
that
really
one.
funny.
I
Do
might
people
watch that
ever go
later.
to Edinburgh with an hour's just club set?
Yeah, and they get panned for it.
Do they? Yeah.
Well, they get panned for it when they... This is something that I was talking to Alfie about this. He's like, comedians don't realise how important their press release is. Because that's when we say people get hammered for it, we're talking about reviews. That's what we're talking about. As much as we like to pretend they don't matter and they're not important and they're shit, people give a shit up there. It sells tickets to your shows and people plaster them all over their posters. So comedians will be like, oh, reviews know nothing. But you can't really have that stance and then give them legitimacy by posting, oh, I got 4 stars from these and putting it all over your poster. You've got to say they're either shit and I don't like them, and then don't use them then. Or you got to say that they're valid, and you can't really have your cake and eat it. But something Alfie said was, when you send a press release to the Scotsman and you go, my show is about the emotional struggle of being a working class lad from Liverpool and what it was like to grow up with an alcoholic mother. If I do an hour of club stuff and at one point go, me ma likes a bevy, then the reviewer goes, this isn't what he said it is. 2.5
I've seen
stars.
so many shows like that.
Do you know what I mean? It's 2.5 stars because it's an hour of club stuff. If you put on your press release, I'm doing an hour of club material, this will be funny. If a reviewer then comes to see it and goes, just an hour of club stuff, 2.5 stars, that's when they can fuck off because you've said that that's what it is. The problem is a lot of comedians go with an hour of club stuff and try and sell it as what they think Edinburgh should be. And they go, oh, it's about this, 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 and this. And there might be one reference to it fleetingly towards the end.
And it stands out
And
like fuck because it's not the practice funny bit.
Yeah.
It's the links. I've seen so many Edinburgh shows where you can tell
first Edinburgh show
in
was like
January they've gone, what's it about? Because you've got to write the thing for the brochure in January. Oh, it's about this, that, and this. And then I don't know what's happened in the preview. Like they've got to May and gone, oh, none of this is funny. It doesn't work. And just binned off the stuff that they've tried to write for Edinburgh. And it's just mainly their club set. And it really shows where it's like, that's the bit you tried to write to make it the thing. And these are all the bits that you've been doing for 5-6 years. It is disappointing. I can see why reviewers go, meh.
Yeah. My first Edinburgh show got panned because of that. Because that's what I did. I went up with the hour of material I'd amassed in 10 years or 6 years or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I put a narrative in it. And it was just clunky and it didn't really work. And it didn't really add to the show. And a lot of it was just, this is a funny bit, isn't it? Like,
Bit crowbarred.
yeah, it was just, like, it got 2.5 stars from Chortle. And if I was pissed off at the time, but if I watched it, I'd probably say the same.
That's an awful thing to admit. To be like, oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, maybe. Sort of.
You just got to be honest about what you're trying to do. And let it be judged as what it is.
But that's an experienced comic saying that. This mistake is a mistake that so many new Edinburgh, because they try and play a game while also doing what comes naturally on the circuit. Especially if you're a northern comic and you play gigs around the north. It doesn't really lend itself to getting up to Edinburgh. It's a real gear change. I think maybe London to Edinburgh is a bit less of a gear change.
Yeah.
What to talk about, old boy? Luke Davis says, eyelids. So I've been a long time listener of the pod and love the shit that yous are doing. And for a while, I've wondered what your thoughts are on Peter Kay. Obviously, he's a comedy giant in the UK and loved by many. However, I always get the impression from other UK comedians that nobody likes him. I've met him myself and he's a bit of an arsehole. But I can imagine, many comedians that are belter comics, but you wouldn't give them the steam off your piss. So I was just wondering why I never seem to hear his name mentioned by many other comics. Like I said, love what you do. Keep it up. Can't wait for the live shows. Nice one.
I'm sure we've had a very similar question before and we've talked about this, but I might be wrong.
I saw it, and to be honest, in the 160 plus episodes, there is going to be there's going to be things that are going to be talked about again. But this has been so long ago now that we've properly talked about Peter Kay that there would be, in theory, about 3,000 more patrons that haven't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, Peter Kay, I've never met him. I don't know him. And I've only ever heard comics sort of say that he's a bit of a dick. But he's brilliant. Like, there's loads of comic stories about him. Like, I heard, and I don't, it's important to say before I say this, I don't know whether any of this is true at all. I've got no idea.
Comic stories do sort of get a little bit of...
I got told, he was always brilliant. No one ever says he was bad at comedy or, he didn't deserve to get where he did. But, I got told, he'd be booked for, let's say, the Birmingham Glee Club, and he's on in the middle. and he'd just get to Birmingham and ring them and go, oh, I'm stuck in traffic, I'm going to have to close. And then he'd close and smash it, but he was just skipping up rungs of the ladder. Instead of doing the 2 years it takes to get from middle to headliner, he was just sort of forcing his way through.
Or waiting to be asked to headline, which is the right thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not to hustle your way into headlining.
Yeah, and I got told like he would sort of wrap the mic cord around the mic stand so that the comic has to spend 10 seconds getting the mic ready and they look a bit shit and he looks even better by comparison. I've heard those stories and I don't know whether they're true.
I've heard, isn't the one that he used to go to open mics and like watch young acts do a joke and he'd take the premise and make it his own?
Yeah, I heard he'd said to some comics like...
That door's open.
I heard he'd said to some comics like, I'm going to do that bit now and people will think you've robbed it off me, so...
Yeah, but this is all...
Yeah, it's all hearsay, isn't it?
all hearsay, innit? But the problem is, this is all allegedly, and it's all hearsay, and we're literally saying we don't know this is true, but Adam's right. There are so many of these fucking stories.
Yeah.
And everyone who's associated with him is very wary of talking about him. So like, Jason Manford, for years, got accused of being like Peter Kay light.
Yeah.
Jason Manford, as a kid, saw Peter Kay at the Frog and Bucket or at the Buzz Club and went, oh my God, this is what I want to do. And I think he won like the Northwest Comedian of the Year as a 17-year-old Jason Manford. Yeah. And Peter took him under his wing. And Jason, I think, holds him in quite high esteem. But whenever he's come up, guys like Jason, guys like Toby Foster, who is in Phoenix Nights, guys like Justin Morehouse, they've all benefited massively from Peter and his talent. They're all really cautious about saying something.
Yeah.
Because
I've noticed that as well.
Yeah, like they're close to him, and I don't think Peter Kay's kept many people close. And I think they're also a little bit wary of whatever. Like, does he like? We know people who get success. And then all of a sudden, they use it. They use their position. They use their power. And then you get people like Jason Manford, we talked about loads. You couldn't get a more sound, selfless comic. There are a list of comics that are well known to the people listening who I wouldn't fuck with because it's well known that she's got a shit list. You don't mess with her. If you're on that shit list, you're never coming off that shit list. And if he hears that you've done that, you'll get a fucking phone call. Like there's some comics that you just don't mess with. I get the impression that guy's one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, I don't hear these stories from those people. Do you know what I mean? Or, like, they are very cautious about it and they're sort of...
Yeah, find a John Bishop story where he's a total arsehole. Find a Russell Howard story when oh my God, Russell Howard's a right cunt. Someone might have been pissed off along the way, but you will not get story after story after story.
Yeah.
John Bishop's dead sound. Russell Howard's dead sound. I'm sure people have like had issues with them about something, but the vibe with Peter Kay is, I just think he gave zero fucks on the way up. And then once he was there, he was like, I just used his influence to, I don't know. As a comic though, Jesus Christ.
As good as it gets.
Fuck, some of that early stuff is the reason I wanted to be a comedian. Top of the Tower makes me laugh so much.
I prefer the other one. I prefer the Bolton Albert Halls.
But when I was into it, I was a kid and I didn't know any better. I had the VHS when I was working at the Hyena in Newcastle. And when I worked at the Hyena in Newcastle, they let me have the flat above the club. In that time, I had Michael McIntyre stay, Dara O'Brien, Jim Jeffries, Adam Hills, Alan Cochrane stayed once. And he just didn't have anything to do. And he was big mates with Kitson at the time. And I'd say this is 2002-ish, 2003. Him and Kitson were best mates. And they were like the new wave of like, Kitson had just won the Perrier. And they were like the new, intelligent, cool kids of comedy. And Alan Cochrane watched Live at the Top of the Tower on my couch in that flat and critiqued it as a, probably at the time, 26, 27-year-old comic who was very much like Edinburgh Fringe, intelligent, challenging comedy. And I was like, watching him watch it is the weirdest thing because to me, it was just the funniest shit I'd ever seen. And he watched it without laughing loads and got to the end. He went, just a lot of shouting in it, because to him he just easily dismissed it as like. I'm not sure that's how he'd feel now. He's a bit older and he's a bit more experienced, but because he was like a bit of a hardliner for alternative comedy, he could just dismiss Peter Kay as like, it's just remembering stuff and shouting. Yeah. Which I think's a bit unfair. I think it's more than that. I think there are some very funny bits in it.
If you can remember stuff and shout about it and make it that funny, that pretty much is what Peter Kay does.
Yeah.
Do you remember this? Ah.
Yeah. It's accessible. It's not quite.
I thought he was in the room then. Sorry, I was wrong.
It's a really good impression.
Remember this?
It's a really good impression.
But if you can do it to that level, where you're some people's favourite comedian, it doesn't matter that like someone like Alan Cochrane, who I love, is like, oh, this is a bit shit.
It's dismissive, yeah.
Like,
but there's loads of crowd pleasers been dismissed by people trying to be the trendy Wendy's of the comedy circuit, or the fringe.
Yeah.
Also, his writing though, I quote Phoenix Nights probably daily.
I've never watched Phoenix Nights,
and that Phoenix.
You've got some mad holes in your history. 2 pints of lager. I've watched every fucking episode. Yeah. The Office, not for me.
Phoenix Nights is. And Max and Paddy as well. I love Max and Paddy. I watched a bit of that.
I drifted on Max and Paddy. I thought that was and I wanted to like it. It wasn't
as good, but it was still good. But
that Peter Kay thing that he did before Phoenix Nights, there was almost like 6 pilots. So good, so clever. And Phoenix Nights was one of those. I think that gets forgotten, by stand-ups because we're so obsessed with comedy. I've just remembered Phoenix Nights exists. Like, when we were talking then, I was literally just laser focused on stand-up.
Yeah.
Peter Kay needs to be judged by
his writing as well, his producing. It's unbelievable.
Car Share and
funny.
Phoenix Nights and there are some amazing bits of Phoenix Nights.
I might watch a bit of
the Black Bin Bag song, the corned beef hash song. I was singing that all week last week. Put it on my Twitter.
I cannot get that Jeffrey Bezos bit out of my head from the Bo Burnham special. Jeffrey Bezos!
When you're hungover, you're so mental.
Why?
It's just like, I cannot get it out of my head.
Because he's just said he had a song stuck in his head for days.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, that made sense. But my point definitely stands.
I've watched Phoenix Nights. It's fucking
you'd love it.
Lad.
I can't be asked.
So, why?
It's just effort, innit?
No, it's sitting there doing nothing with your eyes open. That's it.
Right, let's close it up. Kyle GW says, this is a very important question. Also a 2-parter. When showering, how do you wash between your ass cheeks? Flannel? Hand? Or just let the water do its work? Part 2, do you piss in the shower? I feel like everyone does. Thanks for that, Kyle.
I shit in the shower if I have to.
Everyone pisses in the shower. You're a freak if you lie.
Yeah. Have you ever...
You fucking do, Finn.
You don't piss in the shower.
Give him the mic.
This has been a big point of contention in my life, just in general.
Why?
No, because his feet are worth so much as like a sex aid.
No,
he can't piss on them.
I piss right into the plug hole. I just use the plug hole as like a tiny toilet.
I piss into the sink from the shower.
Why?
Can you move the mic across? We need to set up a second mic. That's starting to do my head in. We got an email about it. Like,
there's just nowhere to put it. That's the only reason Finn isn't mic'd up, is there's nowhere to put it on this desk.
We need to get you a Janet Jackson radio mic and just sellotape it to your cheek.
We get you a little freestanding one. Little Danny McLaughlin one.
Have you ever plopped in the shower accidentally?
No. Have you?
What?
Yeah, I have.
How would you poo on accident? And that's coming from me.
Because when you're ill and you're just like in the shower and then go or whatever, just when you're just not very well. I've accidentally done the first bit of a plop in a shower and just gone, oh,
was it a solid?
God. Well, it wasn't like Fava! It was
Did
just
it go down the hole?
Oh, it's a sort of like
push it in.
No, not why the fuck would you push it in with your hand? Get the shower head off and be like,
pushed in, bro.
Yeah, I piss in the shower all the time. What was the first question?
How'd you clean your bumhole?
How'd you clean your bumhole? I just go with my hand, but I make it the last thing I do. So that hand, I don't then wash my face with my pooey hand.
Do you wash that hand now, yeah?
Do you wash the hand after you've done that?
Yeah.
Great. Brushing your teeth. My fucking breath stinks.
Do you use
every fucking morning.
Do you flannel bumhole or hand bumhole?
I I'm not a big believer in the flannels or anything. Just get a hand,
clean
shower gel, give it a rub, pits and bits, mate.
Yeah.
Pits and bits.
Yeah.
I clean, and this is actually true, like the first 3 millimeters inside the bumhole as well. Like I get,
You just showed the finger that you're doing.
I get a bit of Dove on me finger, and I have a little
You finger your bumhole.
Yeah.
finger me bumhole clean.
You've said that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that cleaning or is that just you on holiday? Now, I'm so used, it's like Pavlovian. Every time I get in the shower, I'm like, tinkle time. When you're at someone else's house and you're staying over and you use the shower, I feel like, don't do it, Dan.
I piss on the floor.
Don't do it.
Someone else's house. I piss on the bath mat.
Right.
Do you?
Yeah.
Silly. Oh, shit.
No, I just piss.
I think it's gross.
If your
I
dick's
try
out,
not to.
if your dick's out at any point and you need to piss, you can go for it. You know what I mean?
Sort of. Not really.
Like, there's no situation where your dick's out where you can't just go,
In bed.
What?
In bed.
Piss, as long as you can.
Don't try and trap him in a corner because he'll never admit it. Like, no, I piss all the time. Just after sex. Can't be asked going over there. Pissed. Go swimming. In the swimming bath. I'm changing. I'm fucking naked. My dick's out. I'm pissing everywhere.
Everyone pisses in the swimming baths.
Yeah. Do you remember that rumour that went round?
And purple.
Started putting stuff in the swimming pool so that there was a purple ring round you.
Yeah, I remember that. They've put a chemical in so your urine
that
reacts
lie?
with it.
So that's a lie, innit?
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Everyone
that was
pisses
a
in the
joke.
swimming pool.
Yeah. Everyone
I
pisses.
do it off the diving board, me.
I piss in the sauna.
Woo!
Right, I want some new questions. So if you could, I'm going to stick up a call for questions. Fire them under there. If they're private terms, put them in the direct messages, and I'll pick them up from there. We'll have some fresh. You know, we need some fresh questions.
We also don't need. Would you rather shag your dad or shag your nan's best
Yeah,
mate?
if
Yeah,
once a week through some form of communication, be that email, Twitter DM, Instagram, Facebook, we get asked that if you were 2 inches inside your ma and your dad's 2 inches inside you,
so
would you rather go forward or back?
Yeah,
We get asked that every week, and every single person asks it as if they've just come up
I
with it.
know. What's annoying is you've heard it somewhere and then gone, oh, the lads haven't done it, but it's just.
And obviously,
I know.
you shag your ma. Obviously. Pussy's better than getting bummed.